Greetings and salutations, one and all. I guess it would be helpful to turn on the mic, right? How you doing? We're halfway there, halfway through the night shift week. It's Healthy Love Night right here. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now, those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Across the pond, One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. Big ups to WGLRO, home of the Donny Walker Morning Show, taking you from the sheets to the streets. On the People Station, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Big ups to those on PEMGTV.com. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. Welcome those joining in on social media. Don't get too comfortable, just remember, it's only temporary. I do encourage y'all to share with your friends. Call somebody, anybody, tell them. It's Healthy Love right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, give them a call. For innovative streaming and recording solutions, call them at 754-999-6020. So many ideas you want to get out at once, huh? You can have them provide streaming services on your website. If you want a website, you can negotiate with them for them to create one for you. If you have one already and you want to host it somewhere, Just say, hey, listen, what can you do for me? So basically everything you see right here on kevinstew.com, they can take care of it for you at Pulse Media Group. Give them a call, 754-999-6020. Visit them online at pulseemg.com. Tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. So on a farm and I've been working out with Dean Fraser. It's called So Amazing. And amazing it is. What's really amazing is what's been going on with this COVID-19 thing. Think about it. All the viruses that have come through in your lifetime. There has been none that has done anything like this. I know, definitely not in my lifetime. And I don't claim to have a long lifeline or a long lifetime. I don't claim to have been around for very long. But in my short time here, in my tenure, I haven't seen anything like this. Nothing. You know, the SARS and the MERS and nothing like what has been happening with COVID-19. And some of the information that I'm getting just doesn't add up. Some of the things are really the things that make you go, not even, But, you know, Scooby-Doo used to do it. Yeah. And it's just puzzling like that. The last bit of information that I really sat down and looked at is what I'll be presenting tonight. You know, as doing my scrolling through and looking through at information and news reports and medical articles and such, and I go to my spot. Most of you know my spot is Mercola.com. So I go to my spot and I come across this article and I'm like, whoa, okay, here we go. So this whole thing, there's a probability, the possibility that this whole pull your hair out, freak out, crisis mode, blood pressure gone up, stress levels through the roof, can really be tapered off in about 30 days. And of course, you know, nothing really happens for free. So it comes at a cost. And that cost happens to be around about $2 per person. Crazy, right? How can you be thinking, you know, what are these doctors thinking that something as massive as this could be controlled, tapered off, contained in 30 days for about $2 a person? Where do they do that at? You know, what sort of wizardry is this? Pretty much the questions that everybody would ask. And I don't blame them. But check this out. In a June 22, 2020, Molecular Medicine News Service press release, Damien Downing, president of the British Society for Ecological Medicine, outlines how we could resolve the COVID-19 pandemic in 30 days for about $2 per person. Simply by taking affirmative action. Yeah, affirmative action. Well, it didn't stop just there. Taking affirmative action to raise vitamin D levels. Yeah, now we're bringing it to a point, right? And it's not the first time that you've heard me raise this point on this show. Again, I'm not a DR, I'm a DJ. So my information I pull from sources elsewhere. Yeah? And sometimes it includes bringing in a DR. um, I, I'm so grateful to have Dr. J Love, Dr. Janice Stone, as a resource that I can call on. She's not with us tonight, but she was with us last week, and hopefully she'll join us next week. We'll see. So about $2 per person in about 30 days. Taking affirmative action to raise vitamin D levels, we could take care of this whole COVID-19 issue. The downside or risk of doing this, well, it's just about nothing. Nil, zilch, zero. While the potential gain could be avoiding another COVID-19 spike altogether. Now, when you weigh those two, what do you want? Potentially, basically, no downside, or another COVID-19 spike, kind of like what is happening in Florida right now. Now, if it is really a spike that is happening in Florida, or is it just recognition of the numbers? I don't know. Things that make you go, But if we could arrange to give everyone vitamin D and it failed to protect them, what do you have to lose? The risk from acting is much greater than the risk from not acting is much greater than the risk from acting. And this is what Downing had to say. And he also said, if you caught the COVID-19 virus right now, having a good vitamin D status from taking supplements already from before would do two things. One, reduce your risk of the disease becoming severe by 90%. And two, reduce your risk of dying by, get this, you ready? 96%. Now, this is not proven or evidence-based until we have done controlled trials comparing it to placebo, but the data, already strong, has been pouring in since the start of the pandemic. And that it makes you really turn your head sideways and wonder, okay, so what has really been going on? But this is what Downing had to say. Here's the evidence that has been provided. Now, although the required protective randomized control trials using vitamin D have not yet been completed, they are indeed underway, and results from many will be in before the year's end. You can visit the clinical trials registry to review the current status of these trials. As of June 2020, there were over 20 studies in progress on the use of vitamin D in COVID-19 cases. Now, Downing goes on to cite research and supporting data. Among them is a study from the Philippines, which found that for each standard deviation increase in serum vitamin D, the odds of experiencing only mild disease rather than severe illness was 7.94 times greater. And the odds of having a mild clinical outcome rather than a critical outcome was 19.61 times greater. Now, according to the author of the study, the results suggest that an increase in serum 25-OHD level in the body could either improve clinical outcomes or mitigate worst outcomes, being severe to critical. While a decrease in serum 25-OHD level in the body could worsen clinical outcomes of COVID-19 patients. Another study from Indonesia, which looked at data from 780 COVID-19 patients, found those with a vitamin D level between 20 nanograms per milliliter and 30 nanograms per milliliter had a 7-fold higher risk of death than those with a level above that 30 nanograms per milliliter. Having a level below 20 was associated with a 12 times higher risk of death. Now, Downing is quoted saying, with a deficient vitamin D status, which is less than 50 nanograms per milliliter, the mortality rate from COVID-19 was 98.8% against 4.1% with adequate vitamin D, which is a little bit greater than 75. So you're 50. Your 50 count, let's call it that, of vitamin D versus your 75 count. So less than 50, greater than 75. The hazard ratio that is 24.1. And a hazard ratio of 4 means that in one condition, for instance, vitamin D deficiency, you are 4 times more likely to suffer the hazard than in another condition, say vitamin D adequacy. A third paper, which provides data from 20 European countries, also found that the probability of developing COVID-19 and dying from it is negatively correlated with mean population vitamin D status, with both probabilities reaching 0 above about 30 nanograms per milliliter. That's the 75 count mark. Now, in their preprint submission of this paper, the authors concluded, quote, "We believe that we can advise vitamin D supplementation to protect against SARS-CoV-2 infection." Downing created a graph with which he illustrated what all that looks like, and you can go searching online to find it. Downing also addresses the issue of dosage and safety, highlighting how warnings about excessive vitamin D intakes being dangerous are very misleading and unwarranted, as toxicity has not been demonstrated until your blood level hits above 200 nanograms per milliliter. The recommended blood level for optimal health is currently between 60 nanograms per milliliter and 80 nanograms per milliliter. In other words, there's a significant margin of safety, even if you manage to exceed the optimal range. Quote, the three papers mentioned show that vitamin D3 blood level of at least 30 nanograms per milliliter is needed for protection against COVID-19. Government recommendations for vitamin D intake, your 400 units per day, 400 international units per day for the UK, and 600 international units per day for the US. And the European Union. These are based primarily on bone health. And this is woefully inadequate in the pandemic context. An adult will need to take 4,000 international units per day of vitamin D3 for 3 months to reliably achieve that 30 nanograms per milliliter level. Persons of color may need to take twice as much. These doses can reduce the risk of infection, but are not for treatment of an acute viral infection. And since vitamin D is fat soluble and its level in the body rises slowly, for those with a deficiency, taking an initial dose of 5-fold the normal dose, so you're going to 20,000 international units per day for 2 weeks, can help to raise the level up to an adequate level to lower infection risk. Now, you might remember us talking before about being out in the sun and the benefits of doing that. And actually, if you've been listening to Healthy Love or tuning into Healthy Love from or at any point at all, you would have heard reference being made to vitamin D. You'd have heard reference being made to being out in the sun and the importance of it. And especially this year, I know I've talked about it significantly. Tonight being no different. There was an interview with Dave Asprey that Dr. Richard Mercola did. And it was featured in how ketones may be useful against COVID-19. Being metabolically flexible is another important lifestyle component. And, you might wonder, why? Well, it's because insulin resistance makes you more susceptible to cytokine storms. And this is a primary cause of death among COVID-19 patients. You've heard many doctors refer to the cytokine storm. The single most important step you can take to attain metabolic flexibility is to cut down on the hours during which you eat, believe it or not. And here in the US, one of the things that they love to do as a pastime is eat. More than 90% of people eat for more than 12 hours a day. And more than half eat for more than 16 hours a day. The key is to reduce your eating window to 6 to 8 hours, making sure the last food you eat is at least 3 hours before you go to bed. When you restrict your eating window, you will decrease insulin resistance, becoming more metabolically flexible and able to seamlessly switch back and forth between burning fat or carbs as your primary fuel. You see how it's important? You see how the dots are connecting? And there was a whole article about how to become metabolically flexible. And if I need to revisit it, just drop me a line. Let me know. I can pull that up for you guys, and I can present it as a whole show. And it addresses how to be metabolically flexible, fat for fuel. But to summarize it real quickly, time restrict your eating window to 6 to 8 hours per day. Eliminate all industrially processed vegetable oils. Limit carbs to 50 grams a day until metabolically flexible, and then increase to 150 grams of healthy carbs twice per week. That's it in a nutshell. The strategy is absolutely vital in light of the prevalence of insulin resistance. Over 90% of the US is vitamin D deficient. 90% of the population is also insulin resistant. Research published in Metabolic Syndrome and Related Disorders in February 2019 concluded that 87.8% of the US adults sampled were metabolically inflexible, which means they cannot efficiently burn fat for fuel. And just looking around us, we can pretty much tell. In the US, we haven't really focused on healthy eating. We haven't really focused on healthy lifestyles. It's something that is more often taken for granted in the Caribbean. Because for the most part, we would eat from the land, and then things like fast food's a treat. Whereas since I have moved to the US, eating fast food is a regular, and eating wholesome food is a treat. Now, of course, I have my own views, my own theories behind this. In the Caribbean, you don't have pharmaceutical companies being having that much of a big business as you do here in the US. In the US, Big Pharma is involved in everything. You name it, they're connected to it. So, naturally, in order to get their products sold, things are going to be kind of tapered that way. They're going to be structured in such a way that we're going to need to have that service. We're going to need to be going back. So we need to be getting the drugs necessary to assist in the insulin resistance. We need to get the drugs that would be helpful in cutting down fat or helping you to burn fat some more, or the drugs that was going to now maintain the high blood pressure because you're not eating right, and the diabetes and all the other things that come along, the insomnia, and there's a drug for that. Now, in the Caribbean, it's a little bit different because you're eating less processed food and more wholesome food. I grew up eating more wholesome food than processed food. Not only that, as a child, we spent the majority of our time outside. We went to school, we ate outside. We played a lot of sports. We were walking outside to go between buildings to get to various classrooms. We're outside for General Assembly a lot of times. We're outside for a lot of things. We do a lot of outside activities. So we spend a lot more time outside. Our children in the Caribbean spend a lot more time outside than children in the US. So what do you find happening? Right, the much needed vitamin D, because, as colored people, as black people, we need to spend more time in the sun to get the same amount of vitamin D naturally. Compound that with eating a better diet, having a better diet, and eating following more strict guidelines. when it comes to time of day, you know, it plays a role. And this is what Downing is talking about. This is what Mercola is talking about in this article. And if we haven't connected the dots yet, and if we haven't gotten it yet, I really hope and pray that we get it quickly. Numbers to call, numbers to text. It was just scrolling at the bottom of the screen. 773-789-STEW. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp. You can connect with me on Skype, Kevin Stew. That's Kevin.Stew. You can email me, djkevinstew@gmail.com. And of course, right here at kevinstew.com, jump into the stew pot. It's what others call a chat room, but because we're very fancy over here, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things bubbling and interactive. It's a judgment-free zone, so your comments, nobody's going to call you down for them. We're all here to grow, and that's the motto here. Have acceptance through enlightenment. You know, let's get enlightened. And that way we can get to a point where, you know, I can accept your position. I don't have to agree with it. But the objective is to accept through enlightenment. Not agree, but accept. Yeah? Cool. All right. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we talk some more. This is also where I bid FB Live farewell. So, Erica, how you doing? In Jamaica, fast food is a regular for some people these days. Things change. Well, you know, yeah, I kind of expected that because of the influence. And this is why I said when I was growing up. So thank you for that point, Erica. It's good to see you. Jump on over to kevinstew.com. I'm going to say farewell to FB Live now. Go to kevinstew.com. I won't know who you are until you change your name, but changing your name isn't a necessity. It's an option. You can remain anonymous and comment there all you want. All right, so you guys over there on FB Live, deuces, take care. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we talk some more.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
I'm David.
I'm Khalib Thompson.
I am David Muir.
And we are the co-founders of a cultural nonprofit in Florida called Island Space.
For many reasons, now more than ever, we need the support of our communities.
As Caribbean Americans, we have the unique ability to claim everyone from the island as members of our Caribbean American family.
We are working to create a home for that family.
The Island Archives will become an internationally recognized museum of history.
Visitors can learn that although we are unique, we are truly stronger together.
Learn more at islandspacefl.org.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects or surfaces, such as remote controls and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home if you are sick. Call your healthcare provider if you develop fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Chew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin's Chew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Chew, believe in, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show. Christine, this heart it up loud.
We've come
I want to welcome you back and say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you. She brings her table, she brings her oils, and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Let me tell you, I had these hands last week. And when I was getting up off that table, I was like jelly. So relaxed. She operates out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties. Give her a call, 954-655-9000, or email her at thealater@att.net. Make your arrangements now. See how she can pencil you in. The sound of Incognito. It's called Change. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. If you're hanging out with us from before, welcome back. And we're looking at calming the crisis. Which crisis? The COVID crisis. And before we went off on the break, we're looking at diets and how we've been eating and the recommendation to limit your eating window. Cut it down from 18 hours a day to down to about in the 8-hour window, and make your last meal 3 hours before you go to bed. So now, not only are you setting up a proper eating regimen, but now you're also complementing it with a proper sleep regimen. Bet you never thought of that part. Yeah. Now, when you're insulin sensitive, metabolically flexible, and eating a cyclical low carb diet, what will happen is that you'll be able to generate healthy ketone levels. Yes, so now you're taking it a step further. Remember that constant ketosis and low carb is an unhealthy strategy. It is fine to go low carb for a few months, but for optimal health, you need to cycle healthy carbs back in once or twice a week. Ideally, when you're doing your hardest exercise or resistance training of the week. When you burn sugar for fuel, you need to break glucose down to 2 molecules of 3-carbon pyruvate. My dyslexia kicking in. Now, pyruvate is then used by your mitochondria after it is converted to acetyl CoA. Insulin resistance, in turn, can impair the enzyme that converts a breakdown product of glucose into pyruvate so that it can be shuttled and burned as energy in your mitochondria. And for those of you, I remember when I just started doing cells in biology, I remember the mitochondria being called the powerhouse of the cell. That is where all the energy is burnt up, or that is where the cell gets its energy. The problem with COVID-19 is that the cytokine storm inhibits the enzyme converting pyruvate to acetyl CoA, which radically limits your mitochondrial ATP production. An additional consequence of this is that it also reduces NADPH. NADPH is the battery of your cells, a reservoir of electrons that actually cause endogenous antioxidants like glutathione, vitamin E and C to be recharged so that they can continue to work and mitigate against the free radical damaging resulting from all this oxidative stress. You see how our cells, tiniest part or the tiniest structure in our bodies, down to the cellular level, each cell is contributing to the health and to our health and well-being. You see how that works? This is at the cellular level. That's all this is happening. So one way to compensate is to make sure you have enough NADPH and ketones radically upregulate NADPH. So another thing that NADPH does is that it turns off NLRP3 inflammasome, and that produces cytokines like TNF alpha, NF kappa B, IL-1B, IL-6, and IL-1-8. And these are causing all the damage. All of that said, it is important to realize that ketone esters will not treat the primary cause of the disease, which is an impaired immune function, typically due to insulin resistance. Ever heard it described of that way? Probably not. Not many people describe the virus that way. Ketone esters can, however, be used acutely, as they've been shown to provide rapid improvement in some patients with COVID-19. To address insulin resistance and metabolic inflexibility in the long term, your best bet is to implement a cyclical ketogenic diet. So, for those who are looking to start dieting or want to restructure their diet, consider looking into a ketogenic diet. Now, have you heard of molecular hydrogen at all? It's H2 gas. And molecular hydrogen has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, making it useful for COVID-19 by reducing inflammatory cytokines, as explained by Tyler W. LeBaron, founder of the science-based nonprofit Molecular Hydrogen Institute. He has a video, and in this video, he reviews the pathophysiology of COVID-19 and explains why H2 is being clinically investigated by discussing the proposed mechanisms of how molecular hydrogen might ameliorate this particular disease. Molecular hydrogen, or H2, has the ability to activate the NRF2 keep 1 pathway, thereby replenishing your endogenous antioxidants. In doing so, molecular hydrogen helps regulate and maintain homeostasis in the whole system, preventing the infection from getting out of control and causing cell death. You keeping up with me so far? Cool. So now, hydrogen can also downregulate NOx and NOS enzymes, thus lowering superoxide and nitric acid oxide production, respectively. This is good. So it's a good thing, as when these two molecules are increased too much, they instantly combine to create the pernicious peroxynitrate mu molecule. I'll also almost said mucus. I don't know why. It must be MJ's fault. I blame MJ for it. Hi MJ. But when you have two molecules are increased too much, they instantly combine to create the pernicious peroxynitrate molecule. Now, H2 molecular hydrogen also supports the mitochondrial function. Hey Bobby, I get it, and sometimes if you don't get all the dots to connect, it can throw you for a loop from time to time. But fret not, the dots still connect at the end. So, and it's not very often that you hear of molecular hydrogen being referred to, especially in our health. I don't know if you've ever heard anybody referring to molecular hydrogen. So, molecular hydrogen also supports your mitochondrial function. Importantly, H2 selectively reduces peroxynitrates and hydroxyl radicals. Molecular hydrogen also steps in to prevent a cytokine storm from occurring. And one of the things that is talked about quite a bit when you talk about the COVID virus taking over is the cytokine storm. H2 will also help improve NADPH, which works synergistically with time-restricted eating and cyclical ketosis. So, again, here you don't just do one thing in a vacuum. You have to combine it with some other things. But it doesn't stop there. In addition to vitamin D optimization, quercetin, which acts similarly to the drug hydroxychloroquine, and zinc may further lower your risk of COVID-19. Compiling evidence suggests that the reason hydroxychloroquine appears so useful in the treatment of COVID-19 is a zinc ionophore, meaning it improves zinc uptake into the cell. And again, I did address the importance of zinc at this time. So we talked about vitamin D importance, we talked about zinc importance. Quercetin has the same effect. In fact, one study has suggested that the biological actions, which include antiviral effects of quercetin, may in fact be related to its ability to increase cellular zinc uptake, again at the cellular level. Everything that we're talking about tonight pretty much is happening at the cellular level, and that is where it is most effective. Zinc is vital for healthy immune function, and a combination of zinc with a zinc ionophore, which is your zinc transport molecule, was in 2010 shown to inhibit SARS coronavirus in vitro. In cell culture, it also blocked viral replication within minutes. Conversely, zinc deficiency has been shown to impair immune function, as noted in a 2013 paper on zinc deficiency. Quote, zinc is a second messenger of immune cell, and intracellular free zinc in these cells participate in signaling events. Zinc is very effective in decreasing the incidence of infection in the elderly. Zinc not only modulates cell-mediated immunity, but is also an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. End quote. The problem, though, is that zinc is largely insoluble and cannot easily enter through the fatty wall of your cells. Getting all the way into the cell is crucial. And this is where the viral replication occurs. This is where zinc ionophores, such as quercetin, this is where they have a part to play now. You seeing how they connect? Quercetin is also a potent antiviral on its own right, and has the added advantage of inhibiting the 3CL protease, an enzyme used by SARS coronaviruses to infect healthy cells. Again, SARS, MERS, COVID-19, all coronaviruses, they have some of the basic structures to them. According to one 2020 study, the ability of quercetin to inhibit SARS coronaviruses is presumed to be directly linked to suppress the activity of SARS-CoV-2 3CL Pro in some cases. To this, you could also add pyridoxine. What is that? Vitamin B6. And selenium. Both of these play a role in the absorption and bioavailability of zinc in the body. You got to know your minerals and supplements that go along with them. A study published in 1991 demonstrated that when young women were on vitamin B6 deficient diets, their serum zinc declined. Suggesting B6 deficiency affected zinc metabolism such that absorbed zinc was not available for utilization. A more in-depth exploration of both niacin and selenium's relationship to zinc is provided in the 2008 paper, Zinc Metallothionesis and Longevity. So that's zinc, metallothionesis, and longevity. Listen, this is the point of the show where I take another break. Because when we're getting into these things, when we come back, we'll look at the math protocol. And those of you who don't like math, don't worry about it. We won't be doing any equations tonight. But we're going to look at the math protocol. And some interesting perception or an interesting take on the use of ventilators when it comes to the treatment of COVID-19. Call a friend, tell a friend. Stick around, stay as long as you can. Give me a call, 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, jump into the Stew Pot and comment there. Again, judgment-free zone. This is where we do what we do. Call a friend. We'll be right back after these messages. Well, of course, I need to pull up the message first, right? Right. We'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
the only thing I didn't learn in school today.
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
It's been a long time coming. Are you ever gonna change? Are you ever gonna to take advice for how I'm feeling? It's been a long time running, and I know you wanna stay. So I think that it is time we live like we used to. Right all around the city singing with the top down. Let's take it back to when we were younger. It's been a long time coming, so put on a happy face. Grab my hand so we can let all of our troubles out. There's no cares tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when the stars never will align. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind. Whoa, whoa. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Oh, now you're so crazy. Oh, I'm crazy too. Right in the moment when your head is confused. Oh, I will stay in the madness with you. Baby, don't you worry, 'cause you know I understand what it's like to be chewed up and spit out in the cold world. Baby, there's no hurry, as long as you take my hand. We can dance and I won't be the one to let you go. There's no care tonight. Take me for a ride. Even when the stars never will align. Even when it's dark and you lose your mind.
Welcome back to the madness.
Right in the moment when your head is confused.
Yeah, that's the title of the track, Madness. The sound of Royce.
Oh, now you're so crazy.
I want to say thanks to Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the show. Reggae Global takes care of your bookings, your tour management, your trademarks, your publishing, your copyrights, your legal contracts, your business registration, and so much more.
There's no care tonight.
They're top class at music production, and marketing and promotion is what they do, what they love to do. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. Or visit them at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Yeah, I'm staying in the madness with you, each and every one of you. You, and even you. Yes, you too, Bobby. Staying in the madness with you. So, if you're hospitalized with COVID-19, early treatment becomes paramount. While there's a great deal of controversy over which treatment is best, clinical evidence, catch this, clinical evidence clearly suggests mechanical ventilation should be avoided at all cost. What? Yeah, that was my reaction too. What? Huh? There is a whole piece about ventilators and quote, let me tell you the title of it. You can look this up yourself. Ventilators may increase risk of death from COVID-19. It's an interesting read. Look it up. Now, furthermore, while hydroxychloroquine combined with zinc appears effective, there's a belief that one of the best treatments suggested so far is the Math Plus protocol. The protocol was developed by the Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Working Group, which includes Dr. Paul Marick, Chief of the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine at Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, and boasts a near 100% effectiveness rate. Ever heard of it? No. There are some things that you just will not hear about. The Math Plus protocol is designed to treat the second phase of COVID-19 infection, the stage when the hyperinflammatory immune response sets in. For best results, it must be administered early. The Math Plus protocol calls for the use of 3 medicines, all of which need to be started within 6 hours of hospital admission. Sorry. First being intravenous methylprednisolone. Now, the methylprednisolone is to suppress the immune system and prevent organ damage from cytokine storms. For mild hypoxia, 40 milligrams daily until off oxygen. Moderate to severe illness, 80 milligrams bolus, followed by 20 milligrams per day for 7 days. On day 8, switch to oral prednisone and taper down over the next 6 days. So this is over the 14-day period. 2, intravenous ascorbic acid, your vitamin C. And this is to control inflammation and prevent the development of leaky blood vessels in the lungs. You're talking about 3 grams per 100 milliliter every 6 hours for up to 7 days. And the third being enoxaparin, subcutaneous heparin. This is used to thin blood and prevent blood clots. No, I'm not cursing as a Jamaican. This now is for the mild to moderate illness, and you use 40 milligrams to 60 milligrams daily until discharged. Optional additions include thiamine, zinc, and vitamin D. In addition to these medications, the protocol calls for high flow nasal oxygen to avoid mechanical ventilation that can damage the lungs. So now you get a basic idea of why they are saying mechanical ventilation is a no-no. Together now, this approach addresses the three core pathological processes seen in COVID-19, namely hyperinflammation, hypercoagulability of the blood, and hypoxia, which is the shortness of the breath due to low oxygenation. Health experts are warning we're likely to see a second wave of COVID-19 coming into the fall. Some of the strategies that we were talking about earlier can go a long way to minimizing fatalities. If we take a proactive approach individually, and this is my suggestion, this is the DJ suggesting based on information that I've come across over time. We take a proactive approach. We get in the vitamin D. We get in the rest. We regulate our eating properly. We watch what we're eating. We maximize on the beneficial foods, and we stay off the processed foods. We eat as close to natural as possible. We stand a good chance, even if exposed, to quickly recover. What we're being told to do on a daily basis as we are going out in public are things that we'd be doing anyway. We should be doing anyway. You know, the washing of the hands, the covering your face when you're coughing, when you're sneezing. So that's what the masks, in my opinion, that's what the masks are really for. You know, when you cough, when you sneeze, you're covering your face. And you're covering your face, preventing the others who would sometimes miss covering their faces. The washing of the hands, that should have been happening regularly anyway. But now there's a call for it, and there has been a call for it, and people have been doing it a whole lot more. People started to use hand sanitizer a lot, and that can be counterproductive also, because the hand sanitizer is killing good and bad bacteria, and the good bacteria is needed to help develop immunity. So now you're removing that aspect of one of the key components to strengthening your immunity. What do you think is going to happen? It's bad enough that we're not interacting the way that we normally do, so that we can get exposed to each other's germs, quote unquote, and develop immunity as a result. That's how herd immunity is developed. You know, I get something and I pass down to you, and you know, our bodies develop antibodies. That is how that happens. The same virus is starting to move around. Our bodies learn. We're designed to do that. The body is designed to heal itself. But it can only do that if you treat it right. So if we're not putting the right minerals, the right vitamins, the right supplements in our bodies, then our bodies won't be functioning the right way. And we're talking about being functional at the cellular level. Break it down to the very core. COVID-19 is not just going to affect you superficially. It's affecting on the cellular level. The three things that I mentioned here, let me go back to them so I won't misquote. The hyperinflammation, the hypercoagulability of the blood, and hypoxia. So the blood is clotting. You're getting inflammations all over because all these organs are now becoming inflamed, and you can't breathe because oxygenation is lessened. So the blood is clotting, the blood vessels are constricting. So your lungs are restricted. So you're not getting enough oxygen. Enough oxygen is not passing into the blood. The blood is clotting, and here we go. It's a domino effect, and these dominoes just happen to be falling in a circle. So they're falling and they're falling, and they keep just falling in that circle. And it stops when you stop breathing. Nope. Another one bite the dust. Done. And yeah, it might sound a little bit cold or a little bit callous, but isn't that exactly just about what is happening? And because of that, we need to be aware. So, really and truly, COVID-19 doesn't have to be or have to stay the crisis that it is labeled as right now. Things can change. One of the first recommendations is that everyone try to optimize their vitamin D levels this summer. Optimal blood level for health and disease prevention of vitamin D is between 60 nanograms and 80 nanograms per milliliter. In Europe, the measurements are slightly different. But you can do the conversions for Europe. So my listeners over there on One Harmony Radio and those that are connected with WGLRO, do the European conversions. But getting above 30 nanograms per milliliter, believe it or not, may dramatically reduce your risk of serious infection and death. Just getting above 30 nanograms per milliliter. And doing so is both easy and inexpensive. Damien Downing said we can fix the COVID-19 pandemic in as little as 30 days simply by making sure everyone is taking vitamin D in sufficiently large doses. Just that. And it could change the whole game. These people want to create vaccines. For when you can just increase your vitamin D levels? Seriously? If you need more information about how vitamin D works, go ahead and look it up. There's information all over. You don't have to go to some special place to find this information. No. Taking quercetin and zinc is another preventative strategy worth remembering. And as is the advice to implement cyclical nutritional ketosis to make sure you're metabolically flexible and not insulin resistant. Again, 3 powerful strategies. Time restricted eating. Eat within a window of 6 to 8 hours. Eliminate all industrially processed vegetable oils. Limit carbs to 50 grams a day until metabolically flexible, and then increasing to 150 grams of healthy carbs twice a week. More acutely, ketone esters may offer rapid relief of COVID-19 related symptoms, such as shortness of breath, and the math protocol, also administered within 6 hours of hospitalization, could actually be a lifesaver. Not a bag of drugs, not the being put on a ventilator. Simple, cheap, effective treatments. While the frontline COVID-19 critical care working group has been struggling to get the word out to doctors and hospitals, at bare minimum, you can request your doctor contact them and urge them to implement the protocol should you or someone you love get sick and need to be hospitalized. There's a growing body of evidence that shows that vitamin D plays a crucial role in decrease, prevention, and maintaining optimal health. Did I say decrease? Disease prevention. There are about 30,000 genes in the body. Not on the body, in the body. Vitamin D affects nearly 3,000 of these genes. As well as there are vitamin D receptors all throughout the body. Understand the importance of vitamin D to our health. According to one large-scale study, having optimal vitamin D levels can slash your risk of cancer and can help prevent at least 16 different types of cancer, including pancreatic, lung, ovarian, prostate, and skin cancers. Vitamin D from sun exposure also radically decreases your risk of autoimmune diseases such as simple sclerosis. Sorry, did I say simple? Multiple. I don't know what's happening with me tonight. Multiple sclerosis and type 1 diabetes. Sun exposure also helps prevent osteoporosis, which is a significant concern for women in particular. Because monthly, during the menstrual cycle, they lose so much vital minerals and blood. And through, the uterine walls being replenished, that requires quite a bit of minerals to make the uterine walls just right. And it's prepared every month for a baby, though they don't have a baby every month. The conditions just have to be right. So they lose quite a bit of their vitamin D levels. So they have to replenish so much more than men. Since over half the population doesn't get enough magnesium and far more are likely deficient, magnesium supplementation is recommended when taking vitamin D supplements. This is because magnesium helps to activate vitamin D, as the enzymes that metabolize vitamin D in your liver and kidneys require magnesium. So again, we need to know which supplements go with which vitamins. And it's important to make sure to try to regulate these vitamin D levels. They also found that who do not take supplemental magnesium need on average, those who do not take supplemental magnesium need on average 146% more vitamin D per day to achieve a healthy blood level of 40 nanograms per milliliter, compared to those who take at least 400 milligrams of magnesium along with their vitamin D supplement. Your multivitamins, if they have magnesium in them, you might well be on your way to absorbing just the right amount of vitamin D. Your omega-3 fats are important also. So you don't want to leave those out. If you're looking into a mirror, you think you can tell if you're deficient in vitamin D, magnesium, or omega-3s? No, you can't. The only way to really know is to get tested. And yeah, you know, these tests may be considered specialized tests, so they cost a little bit more. But isn't your health worth it? Health is wealth, right? It only makes sense. We're gonna wrap up and jump into our musical therapy. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, and this is where we're gonna wind down. Yeah? We're gonna go into our musical therapy, get some musical therapy in. Guys, we didn't get much of it last night. We didn't get any of it last night, come to think of it. Thank you again to Antoinette Jones and Jimmy Lawson for stopping by and sharing with us as it relates to Julius Jones. Those who missed it live last night, you can go ahead and catch it in the archive, the video archive. It is there. Those who missed the 2020 special on ABC, again, you know, there is that, and there is what we had live last night with Antoinette and Jimmy. The only person that was absent from that is Julius, and he did send his greetings. So, you know, go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. It's right there. Go to kevinstew.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see the video archives. Just look right there, Justice for Julius. Right? Cool. So I'm going to jump into our musical therapy, and we'll bring the night down to a close. And tomorrow it's Real Talk. And you're in for quite a treat tomorrow also. Go ahead and Google this name. David Barash. Dr. David Barash. Barash. That's all I'll say on that one.
My name is Richie Stevens, and right now this is a special tribute to all doctors and nurses around the world, all healthcare workers. This one is your song. You are our true heroes.
Cheers to you guys.
Go. Let's drink to all the hard-working people. Let's drink to the doctors and nurses.
Yeah, don't frowns though when you see the doctors and nurses drinking.
To all healthcare workers, let's drink.
It's probably coffee or water or juice.
Yeah.
Don't stress it.
Say a prayer for policemen and soldiers out there in the streets to keep us alert. Say a prayer for the elders and children, and even the middle-aged. We don't want you to get hurt. Yeah, everybody stay at home. Stay away from the crowd. Yeah, yeah. We don't need to spread these germs around. Yeah. It's taking lives, so you know you gotta keep your distance. Coronavirus is killing people. Hey. So raise your glass to the doctors and nurses. Let's drink and show appreciation to them. Let's think of the wandering millions who need leaders to get a doctor instead. And when I search the whole entire world, I don't see no one that can help us. Oh, they're risking their lives trying to save you and me. The doctors and nurses, they're special people. Yeah. Let's drink to all the hard-working people.
The sound of Richard Stevens with his tribute to the doctors and the nurses. I want to say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show. GMAT Music Solutions will provide sound, light, and stage production services for your event. Musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers, so much more. GMAT Music Solutions brings your event to life. Give them a call, 754-307-4622. Quick way to remember it, 754-307-GMAC. You can also check them out on gmatmusicsolutions.com. And you can do your online shopping there too. So, you know, it's quite the one-stop shop.
Let's drink to the doctors and nurses. Raise your glass to all healthcare workers. Let's drink to the salt of the earth.
First time she blessed my hands, clean and clean, got the wicked and the neat. Me make them up to make she creamy, pretty fresh game, she intrigued me too. First time I travel like me can't chat, the gleam in her eyes got me glued to the spot. Her smile took away my pain, just like a baby kid.
This is the sound of Mason the Emperor.
At first sight was love, real true love, mutual.
It's called Lovers Rock.
She laid back in her arms, she closed her eyes and started rocking away. She said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Ooh, cool and easy like a summer. Said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Ooh, kind of love to keep her mind at ease. Said she can't take the book without. Said she wants a real man to love forever. Said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Every man can attract the special kind of love, ain't no one above. Natural beauty, one of a kind, so divine that she's all mine. So I make sure every breath she take me feel with love. I give thanks and praise to the one above. Say I'm me and the only man where she love. Can the spirit feel so secure? At first sight was love, real true love, mutual love. She lay back in her arms, closed her eyes and started to rock away. She said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Ooh, cool and easy like the summer. Said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Ooh, kind of love to keep her mind at ease. Said she can't take the two together. Said she wants a real man to love forever. Said she loved the lovers rock, yeah. A lonely life we have until we woke up on this magnificent empress full of joy and happiness. On Valentine's Day she born with Cupid in the mix. Shot one arrow through me heart, couldn't miss her. It was perfect from the start. Never free she would fall in love with me. Top shelf, dolly, surely outside Millie. Never did she make me feel inferior. She make me feel superior. She give me everlasting bliss. But she says she loved the lovers rock, yeah. Like a summer, said she loves the lovers rock, yeah. Ooh, kind of love to keep her mind at ease. Said she can't take the go together. Said she wants a real man to love forever. Said she loves the lovers rock, yeah. Yeah, oh.
Give me just a little smile. Just smile. That's all I ask of you. Just a little smile. We got a message for you. Oh, yeah. When you smile, that smile, you do it every time. You let the good vibes flow. You let the good vibes grow. Yeah, it's the sunshine, sunshine, sunshine reggae.
The sound of Ed Robinson.
Don't you hurry, don't you hurry.
It's called Sunshine Reggae.
Take it easy. easy.
Yeah, that's how we're doing, taking it easy. As we go through this musical therapy.
Let the good vibe just grow a little stronger. People smile at you wherever you go. When sweet reggae music is playing on your radio. Give me just a little smile. That smile, that's all I ask of you. Oh yeah. Give me just a little smile. Bring it on, yeah. We got a message for you. Sunshine reggae, sweet like the sunshine. Don't you hurry, no. Don't you worry, no. Take it easy. Sunshine reggae. Let the good vibes just grow a little stronger. Come here and give me just a little smile. Just a smile. That's all I ask of you. Yeah, oh yeah. Give me, show me. Give me just a little smile. Show me that smile. We got a message for you. Oh yeah. It's the sunshine reggae. Oh yeah. Don't you hurry, don't you worry.
Some new music from Ed and Dottie. This is Ed Robinson working out with Dottie. Dottie from SDS, Sensational Dynamic Sound. The dynamic female trio. Other group members being Suzanne Sultry and Shauna Dazzle.
Because of you, I was able to give my heart again. You give me someone to love.
This is a pre-release, y'all.
Someone to hold, someone to know.
I love it.
Someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold.
I need you, Kevin's true. Pull up that song, I like it. But
yeah, bad for real.
You are the one, yeah.
Ed Robinson working out with Dottie. Their rendition of Someone to Love.
Don't even like to think about it. I don't know what I'd do without it. I only know I live and breathe for your love.
Baby, you came to me in my time of need. When I needed you, you were there for me. Baby, the love from you is what got me through.
It's because of you I was able to give my heart again. You give me someone to love, yeah. Someone to touch, someone to hold, someone to know. You give someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, oh, someone to know.
Oh, baby,
I thought I'd never love because of you, I was able to fall in love again. You give me someone to love, someone to love, someone to hold, someone to hold, someone to know. You give someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, someone to hold, someone to love. For in my life, I wouldn't let love inside, but I swallow my pride the day you arrive. Oh, now with you by my side, everything is alright. It's because of you I was able to give my heart again. Someone to love,
Yes, Daddy.
someone to hold, someone to know. Someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, someone to know, someone to love, someone to love, someone to hold, someone to
This is Unique. Her rendition of Cherish the Day. For the Hezites, this is Hezron. It's called My Diddler.
virtuous woman. So glad you're with me. Yeah. You know how to carry yourself, ever fresh and so clean. And when you walk, it's so clear, you got the strides of a queen. So if you don't mind, I wanna shout it loud. I'm glad I'm your king. Oh, much. I love it, my baby. Oh, my oh, yes, I love you till the end of days. I love you till the end of days. Nobody can call your name. You know mix up nothing. No, you talk your mind straight, and you no flex with fake friend. Plus a bag of man a talk and a try, still can't get nowhere. See when you walk, it's so clear, you got the strides of a queen. So if you don't mind, I wanna shout it loud. Yeah, I'm your king. My darling, oh, much. Hey, I love you, my baby. My darling, I love you till the end of days. Yes, my darling, yeah. I love you, my baby. Ooh, oh, my darling, I love you till the end of days. When you walk so clear, you got the strides of a queen. That's why I'm so glad. Shut up, I'm your just dive right in and follow my lead. But I found a girl.
This is Marlon Farquharson.
Beautiful and sweet. I never knew.
Of Visions Band. His rendition of Perfect.
'Cause we were just kids in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own. And in your eyes, you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to my favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath. You heard it. You look perfect tonight. Well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams, her hopes that someday I'll share her home. I found a love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are kids in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time.
6 minutes to go.
Somebody walk into my heart, into my surprise. Somebody's tearing me apart, and it feels just fine. And it's you. I've waited oh so long to say it's you. You're everything I ever dreamed would have come to me. And tonight I give in to the feeling. Tonight I give in to the thrill of loving you. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Somebody turn my life around, and I'm not the same. Suddenly I don't hear a sound, only your name. And I really need you. Tonight I give in to the feeling. Tonight I give in to the thrill of loving you. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Yes, tonight I give in to the feeling. Yes, tonight I give in to the so hold me. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Somebody walk into my life, and he's right on time. Somebody look into my eyes, and he read my mind. And it's you. I only need to tell you that it's you. You're everything I'd ever dreamed would have come to me.
This is how I am gonna bounce on out of here tonight. Looking forward to some breakfast. Not too sure if it will be in bed or not. Well, the only way to look forward to breakfast is to look forward to waking up, yeah? This is Jamie Hinkson working out with the Homebred Band. South Florida representing. Just reminding you to check me out. Come hang with me tomorrow in Real Talk Wednesday as we close out the night shift week. We'll be chatting with Dr. David Barash. That's Barash. Google him. And then come hang out with us and get to know him. You can ask him a question or two if you wish. That's what the stew pot is there for. But until then, I bid you all a farewell. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from right here in South Florida. I'ma bid you all a good night. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.